Hi, this is David with ThinkGeo, and I wanted to show you a new feature that we've added called Raster Projection. And this is the sample that comes with it to show you the functionality. I'm going to go ahead and run it, give you an idea of what it looks like, then we'll look through the code and go over a little some of the caveats. So here in the sample, we actually start with the data, which is a background TIFF file of the world that's in decimal degrees, and also country 02, which is a shapefile of the countries in decimal degrees as well. When we click this, it's going to reproject everything to spherical Mercator. So we can zoom in, we can pan around, and you notice that it reprojects everything on the fly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code behind this. So the first part is that we're setting the map to decimal degrees. We go ahead and create our shapefile layer of country 02. We create our TIFF raster layer to world TIFF, and we basically draw that. And this is really standard, what you would normally do. The sample, you're going to notice some of this code down here is might be a little bit strange to you, because this sample is done just using the Map Suite core. So we're not using the desktop or the web. And this is because this raster projection stuff is really kind of in a least common denominator in the core. And so we wanted our sample to be just using the core to show you how it worked and not have to have an extra dependency at like the desktop or the web. So where the real magic happens is down here when you change the index of the list box. So what's going to happen is when you move it to spherical Mercator, we're going to change the map unit of the map to meters. We're going to create a projection class. Now this projection class is just like the projection class that you're using today to project vector data. It's exactly the same class. We've just enhanced it. And if you look on the release, we actually show the different APIs that we changed and how we enhanced it. We set the internal projection to decimal degrees and the external projection to spherical Mercator, and we set the image source's projection property on the raster layer. So this is the code that that you normally use to reproject a vector file. You take the feature layer's feature source projection property and set the projection. In this one, it's basically the same thing. It's the raster layer's image source's projection property and set the projection. Now this projection property is applies to all of the raster layers. So this applies to TIFF, ECW, MrSid, all the different raster layer classes that we have. And then after you set the projection, you go ahead and open it, and then you just set the new extend, and it does all the projections. So if you're familiar with how we do the vector one, the raster projection is basically in the same vein. Now one thing to note is that the projection system is a unmanaged implementation, and at the moment we don't have a managed implementation, even though we're actually working on it. So what that means is that there's going to be some unmanaged DLLs that you're going to have to work with, and let's go over those a little bit. What this is a DLL pack, one of the latest DLL packs, and I want to show you what the dependencies are. This happens to be the web, but it's going to be in all the different editions. They're going to have these same the same dependencies, and it's these two folders right here that you're going to need to move. And basically, you're going to need to move these to the System32 directory if you're on a 32-bit box, or the syswow64 directory if you're on a 64-bit box, or the System32 directory if you're on a 64-bit box, I think, and then you're compiling your DLLs to x86. But if you have any questions about that, you can just click here on the deployment guide. This is on our wiki.thinkgeo.com, and it shows all the deployment information. And let's see, if we come down here, it says that basically you have to move these two folders to wherever the system environment variable system root is, and so that's either going to be syswow64 or system32. So with that, go ahead and try it out, and we'd love to hear some feedback from you, and thank you for your attention. Bye.